Hi everyone, welcome to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm your host Rajni Bharara, and before I move ahead, let me quickly read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not legal advice. Use of information is at your own risk. All right. After this very important disclaimer, hi everyone. Welcome back to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I am Rajni Bharara, your host, and today's episode is again a very special one. You know why? Because we are going on an Aussie tour adventure and an Aussie tour, exploring the land of kangaroos, koalas, and of course, some of the most intriguing immigration policies in the world. Our guest today is someone who has been the guiding light for countless individuals chasing the Aussie dream, Mr. Aneel Khowaja, a licensed migration agent and the CEO and co founder of Think Hire Consultants. Over the past decade, he and his team have helped hundreds of thousands of clients navigate the sometimes choppy waters of immigration, ensuring they achieve their dreams of studying and living abroad. He's also a trailblazer in the world of education and test prep. As the co founder of PTE classes, he has flipped the script on how PTE aspirants prepare for their exams. So, without any further ado, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to none other than Mr. Aneel Khowaja. Hi, Aneel. Welcome to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show.
Hi, Rajni. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you. This is your first time on Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. So please tell us, how are you doing? Are you excited to be with us?
Uh, yeah, wonderful to have you in this show. I've seen your videos and you've been doing really well. And I hope that my expertise or my whatever the information I would be providing today would help our viewers. Really excited. Yeah.
I mean, I can vouch for that. It is definitely going to help our viewers. And this is the first time also, Anil, we are, tapping into and discussing about Australian immigration. And so it's going to be, I'm sure, an exciting episode. So once again, welcome back. And to our lovely viewers, we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and also on Facebook. And the handle is Immigration Talk Show. So don't forget to subscribe to us. And Anil, we are also live on your platform. So please also let our viewers know about it.
Absolutely, and I'm excited. So I can see a lot of messages are coming on our phone. So they're eager to ask lots of questions. So let's take this session further, and we'll see how things go from here. Yeah.
Yes, guys. Whatever question that you want to know about Australian immigration, anything that, whatever it might be related to Australian immigration, you are more than welcome to post them in the comments below. Whether you're watching it on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, please post them in the comments below. We will be more than happy to take your questions. All right, now without any further ado, so Anil, before the show, we were discussing about these changes, that has happened and that has been implemented from July 1st in Australian immigration. So we will be talking about that. But before we talk about that, let me first understand what exactly is Australian immigration. Please tell our viewers about, if you can give a brief overview about the Australian immigration system and its key components.
Sure. So Australian immigration is one of the exciting immigration prospect around the world. Obviously, everybody knows about Australia. A few years back, or maybe a decade ago, lots of people were migrating to US, Canada, lots of European countries, and then the Australia come into the picture where Canada and US has started to stop lots of immigration. Then Australia has given the opportunity to a lot of skilled migrants to come to their, come down under and start working and, start their lives. So Australia has lots of opportunities, and it's also called as a land of opportunities, similar to US. And it's untapped market where people can definitely come down, have a great lifestyle, along with lots of opportunities, and the work the quality of life is quite amazing out here. So now Australian immigration, let's come to the Australian immigration. The Australian immigration has two important components. One is the temporary visas. The other ones are the permanent visas. So temporary visas where you can apply for student visas, temporary residency after the student visas. There are lots of other visas like visitor visas. Along with that, there are lots of work visas which can be of temporary stream. And then there is a permanent visas where most common are the general skill migration, which is 491 subclass 190 and 189. Now 189 is the point-based subclass where you can apply on your points. And then it comes with the 491 and 190 where state sponsorships are available. So if, for instance, you are not meeting the certain point requirement, then you should start working with your migration agent or with your licensed migration agent in order to apply for the state sponsorships, where they give you additional points in order to apply for a certain subclass or certain category. So every state has their own occupation list, which they generally publish every year. And then if you fall under any of the nominated occupation, then obviously you need to first get your skill assessment done through the assessment bodies. Once you have that one, you need minimum 65 points, that's the minimum threshold criteria. And then you apply to the state sponsorship. So this is how it happens. So yeah, then obviously do you have other visa streams like partner visa, parent visas, and all those associate visas which help your family to come down along with yourself. So this is how it happens here.
All right. So can you differentiate between these visas and help our audiences understand it more? I mean, these primary visa categories.
Yes. So let's talk more about the general skill migration, which I believe our audience is more onto that. And then obviously we'll discuss about the student visas and all their nitty-gritties as well. So general skill migration, as I said, comprises of three major visa subclasses. One is the 189, which is more like a point-based and skill-independent visas where you need to have highest points in order to get invited. Pretty much similar like the Canadian, the point testing criteria, where you are on the top of your points criteria, then, you'll be invited earlier. Then it comes to, and then the minimum threshold is like 65. So you can be eligible for 65, but the invitation cannot be guaranteed if you have minimum 65. So you need to have more points in order to have better chance to get an invitation. Then you have subclasses like 491 or 190. Now 190 is the direct permanent residency, but it's called the state sponsorship. So for instance, if you are falling short with the points, you're not able to compete with 189 category, then you apply to the state sponsorships. Now, how the state sponsorship applies, as I said, they publish a list of occupations that these are the occupations required on in demand on the state. So once you once you run through the list and see if any of your nominated occupation, your first step is to get the skill assessment done. Now, in Australia, unlike Canada, because Canada we have West and other, but in Australia, each occupation has its own skill assessment body. For instance, accountants. Accountants have 3 skill assessment body from where you can get your skill and qualification assessment. Engineers have Engineer Australia, whereas the managerial and the officer levels, you can go to the VETASIS. So, and then teachers, AITSL. So there are heaps of different skill assessment body, and you need to then figure out, and that can only be done if you have high register migration agent. You can do it by yourself, but obviously it's going to be quite hectic for you. So we always ask that go with a register migration agent, those who know the stuff, and then they can help you out getting the right pathway for you. So once you get the skill assessment done, then you need to start applying for the expression of interest. Now, expression of interest is a very short application where you put all the information and give an expression to the state and the Department of Home Affairs in Australia that you're interested to get an invite. Then once you do the EOI, then simultaneously you have to also apply a state sponsorship application. So few states only requires you to lodge an EOI, but lots of states ask you to have a separate application. For instance, Victoria, Melbourne is the the capital city, so they require you to lodge a registration of interest after lodging an EOI. Similar to Queensland, and then there are a few states which only requires EOI, like New South Wales, Western Australia, and they pre-invite you, and then you submit the documentation and everything. And once you have got that invitation, you submit the documents, they give you the final invite to lodge the visa application. And then you have to wait until the visa gets processed, and then you can enter to Australia on any
Uh,
of these visas which you have got an invite. Yeah. So this is how
well,
it happens. Yeah.
thank you so much for answering in so much detail, and it sure sounds simple, but I'm sure it isn't as simple as you're making it sound. So, but thank you so much for such in-depth answer, yeah, Anil. So, but Anil, now before I jump into my next question, I actually also wanted to ask you about the eligibility criteria. But before I ask you about that, I have another question. So there, I don't know if these are rumors or this is actually a reality, but since you are the correct person who I should ask this question to, so I think you can let me know about it. Is it true that now Australia is also closing the borders for immigrants, and now it is not as immigrant friendly as it used to be earlier?
All right. So few of the things are right, but obviously we need to now need to know the inside about how what exactly happening. So Australia
Okay.
last post COVID, they started inviting lots of people either on a temporary visas or the permanent visas. But then they felt like they have lots of temporary visa holders now, and they're not working in their skill occupations or in the skill categories. So they really want people who can come down and work, and they have those skills in order to support the Australian economy. So what happened recently in November, they've given a migration plan. The new government came into the power. They gave a migration plan, and they have strategized in a way that they will start, sieving out the non-skilled workers back to their home countries, and they'll try to grab more skilled workers within Australia. Or if they are not able to, find it within Australia, then obviously they would be then seeking from all around the world. So this is how it's happening. So what they have done it at the moment, it's really hard to get the student visas or sustain yourself in Australia if you're on a temporary visas. So you always need to find a way to get the permanent residency. So doors are not closed. It's one of the hot cake at the moment, but obviously the system and the plan has changed. So you need to get a right pathway in order to apply the permanent residency. Now, what we have heard last week that they are starting opening the offshore student visas as well. But again, there are certain criteria. You don't need to have much gap. Your English proficiency needs to be good. Uh, you you cannot hope from one course to another. So these are the tactics they are implementing in order to ensure that what course or whatever reason you came to Australia, you stick to that. So you
Okay.
cannot change it until unless you have a right approach or right pathway to do so. Yeah.
Okay, but do you think now the students or now the immigrants are finding it more difficult, or I mean, or is it the same? Because I'm sure a lot of people must be, getting in touch with you and asking these questions about, now what should they do? And after these new rules have been passed, so they must be also getting in touch with you, asking, panicking and asking a lot of questions. So, I mean,
Yeah.
what's the situation? Is it any tough?
Yes, in terms of lots of queries are coming up. Lots of people are really worried, especially those who are right now in Australia. Those are planning to, apply to Australia. They still have an opportunities. They can still, get things going. But those who are in Australia, they are in worrisome because what's happening, like they're trying to bring young people into the Australian economy, or Australian, the platform. So those
Yeah.
who are more than 35 years or 36-year old, or if the general skill migration we talk about, they don't want people who are more than 40 years old. So if you're young, you're energetic, you have skills, you have got the right qualification, then Australia would be one of the best places to come, and they are not stopping there. So you need to apply with the right age group and the right skills. So panic is there, but again, once we educate them, we let them know what the plan is all about with the Australian government, then they settle down. So this is how it's happening. This is why we are here, to help them out. So
Of course.
I also suggest that do not panic. There is always another way. So, now lots of the government is pushing them to apply for regional visas. They want people to apply work visas. So lots of Australian employers really want workers or skilled workers that they have given an opportunity to sponsor them. So sponsorship's getting easier. So if you have got the right Australian employer or company can sponsor you, then this is the very right time to apply.
Right. And if you can't seem to find a way, then get in touch with Think Higher Consultant team. They are here to help you out, right? So their details are already scrolling below. You can give them a call at +6 143 560 0610. Their email is melbourne@thinkhigher.com. .au, and their website is www.thinkhigher.com.au. All right, so get in touch with them. They'll be able to help you with your queries, with your panicking questions, and anything that you would like to know about it. How do you migrate to Australia? Now, let's come to my next question, Aneel. So, my next question is about the general eligibility criteria for someone who's looking to migrate to Australia. So, what's the eligibility criteria?
All right, so there are different, there are lots of visas and they have their own different criteria in order to be. So let's talk first about the general skill migration. Then we'll obviously touch based on the work visas requirement as well. So as we said that this is the hot cake at the moment. So we can obviously educate people about the work visas as well. So general skill migration, the minimum threshold criteria at the moment. Now there are some the items where you can grab the points. For instance, age is one of the factor. So if you're under 25 years to 32 years plus 364 days, then you get the maximum points. So that is 30. So if you just fall to 33 to 39 years of bracket, then you get 25 points. So this is how the age bracket works out. Then the education part, you get maximum 20 points. If you're bachelor's or master's, you have done it, then you get 15 points. Diploma level studies give you 10 points. Then you have education, you have age, then you have experience. So maximum you get 15 points if you have overseas experience of more than 8 years. But if you have done experience in Australia, then you can claim up to 20 points. But again, you have to have maximum 7+ years of experience. At least you can claim where you have 3 years of experience offshore or 1 year in Australia. So age is one of the factor, as he said, skills like your experience, education. Then there's a big factor, which is the partner points. So if you're married, then your partner needs to have a good English, at least 6 each in IELTS or 50 each in PTE. That's what they require. And he or she, whoever your partner is, you need a skill assessment for your partner as well. Otherwise, if you're single, you're blessing in disguise. You get 10 points. So if you're not married, then it's a good opportunity for you to apply to Australia, get 10 additional points, and you don't need to go into hassle of getting your partners to get skill assessed and getting the right English. And then again, the big factor is the English. So if you have good English score, then you get good points. For instance, if you go with a PTE, if you have 79 each in PTE, so you need to crack 79 each in one go. So you cannot combine 2 or 3 tests in order to get the 79. So in one go, you get 79 out of 90. Then you get maximum 20 points. Whereas for 65 points, you get 10 points. And for 50 each, where you have minimum eligibility criteria met, but you won't get any points. So English is a very big factor. And apart from that, there are other factors as well. Like if you study in Australia, you get more points. If you study in regional Australia, you get more points. There's another option to go with a professional year program. If you have studied in Australia and you are on a TR, then you can go with the professional year program to grab another 5 points. So this is how it happens. Then as with the points, then you apply state sponsorships. They give you 5 and 15 respectively. So if you go with the 190 subclass, you get 5 points, but it's a direct permanent residency. Whereas if you opt for a 491, it's a conditional PR, but you get 15 points. So there are ways to get the permanent residency. These are the important factors and the general eligibility criteria in order to meet the Australian immigration point testing.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for answering the question. But also, I think, from July 1st, like we were discussing before the show, there have been a new policies and new rules Australian immigration. So if you can please also talk about that, and if you can also mention those new rules and policies that's been implemented, because I think now getting
So
a PR is much difficult than how it used to be earlier, right?
yeah, yes. Uh, See, I never say it's difficult, but it's you have to have another, the pathway, because obviously the earlier pathways were easier, but now there are other ways to do it. But again, yeah, in a sense, you can say it's tougher. So, what the changes are, the immigration will introduce a new point testing very soon. So they haven't given the uh, the blueprint of how the new point testing works, but that's what they have indicated. Apart from that, the new changes are obviously if you're on a visitor visa and you're coming to Australia, you cannot change your visitor visa to any student visas apart from the work visas if you have an opportunity. Apart from that, if you are on a TR 485 while you're staying in Australia, then you cannot apply any student visa if you're on a TR. So they have closed down those doors as well. Apart from that, the temporary residency of 485, you can only apply until 36 years of age. So 35 years plus 364 days. As soon as you reach 36, you cannot apply the temporary residency. Unlike previously, it was up to 50 years. So that reduced down a lot of, the bracket has reduced down a lot. Apart from that, there are few good changes are coming up as well. As I said, work visa is one of the key. Earlier, the work visa requirements for was 2 years post-study experience. Now they are reducing down from November 2024 to 1 year only. So if you have a 1 year post-study experience, then you can apply for work visa, subject to getting a Australian employer or company. Yeah. So these are the important changes coming up. Yeah.
Okay, and I think okay, Australia is really, really looking for young blood, right? They really want young people to come to their country and be a part of their country. So okay, also Anil, what do you think? What makes Australian immigration different than, or let's say, Australian dream different than an American dream, or maybe a
Okay.
Canadian dream?
Yes. So I have lots of clients who have been to US and Canada as well, but Australia has its own unique features. So now, obviously, since I'm an Australian and I've been in Australia for last 13 years now, so probably 13 to 14 years. So what I have seen or what I have discussed with my friends, it's a lifestyle. So Australia gives you a lifestyle. So at least if you're with a family, then you obviously have a family time as well. You'll try to have a better approach towards your lifestyle. Unlike US, it's quite fast paced. So you need to be on your toes all the time. So it's a quite different world out there. Apart from there are lots of other benefits being being an Australian and apply for Australian immigration. They do have a very good medical system where they give you Medicare, so your medical would be all free. So you get a Medicare card where you can have, yeah, so family medical would all be free, whereas the education is quite free here. So if you're on a permanent residence, you've been a citizen, then your family don't need to pay anything for their education. Even though for higher education, they give you the hacks, which you can pay down the line once you reach up to a certain level of your income. So these are lots of benefits. And then obviously, once you're paying taxes and everything, so you can see they are implementing those strategies and you can see that what you're paying to them, it's reverting back to the community. So
Of course.
yeah, so these are the the plus points if you migrate to Australia.
Okay. And what's the reason behind the student visa cost doubling up? I mean, earlier I think I have I mean, as far as I know, it was somewhere around $710, and then right now it's somewhere between $1,600, if I'm not wrong, right? So
Yes, so
don't you think
it's
it's a
quite a
lot?
massive
Yeah.
jump. Yeah. Yes, yes. So as you said, Australia is looking for young blood, but again, they really want people who are coming to Australia to focus on studies. So students came on a university study and then they hope down to a very cheaper or lower level, the education providers where even they were not going. So there were lots of ghost colleges, and that uh, that it, the news break out as well into the national television, and then they start cracking those colleges. Then they decided that it's time to have a better students with the highest quality rather than you just get students to Australia and they're not doing what they are meant to be in Australia. So earlier there was a, a legislation where you need to meet the genuine temporary entrant criteria, which they have changed the genuine student criteria, GST. So that is something which they have changed it. So now they really want people to study in those universities where they have opt for, rather than they go to the cheaper one and then they distract themselves trying to do lots of casual part-time jobs, and sometimes they get unlawful as well. So they don't want that to happen again. So this is the reason they have increased the student visa fee as well. And again, there are lots of people in Australia, they're trying to just be on student visa forever. So for instance, I know lots of my clients who've been here for last 8, 10 years. They keep increasing, extending their student visas. So they really, government don't want that to happen because they're using the temporary visas in order to stay here permanently and doing nothing.
Yeah.
So that's where they're cracking. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of expanding the student visa, I think now the students are not allowed to, if say their visa, student visa is getting over, I don't know if that's the right word or not, and if they want to renew it again, so they cannot do it. They will have to again move to their own country and they will have to apply again to renew the visa, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so yeah, very good research, Rajni. So how this is working out, they are putting a no further stay condition on the student visas. So they really want people to study within the time frame they have given at the time of giving them the visa, like visa grant. So if their visa is expiring, they need to ensure that they're finishing their study. So as soon as they finish the study, they're under 36-year-old, they can apply for temporary residency for 2 years. So they'll get the work permit, they'll get the 485 TR visa that allows them to stay in Australia for 2 years, work around things, get skills, get better. So this is how it's happening. So yes, you're absolutely right that you cannot extend your visa if you haven't finished your student visa within the time they've given you.
Okay. And what about, I mean, I think I asked you this question before the show also, but I would like to also ask it again over here that, because there were families who are already living in the country, in Australia, and, they were calling their children and their relatives to come to the country with a tourist visa, and later then they can convert it into, a student visa or maybe a work visa, but now they cannot do that. So they have restrictions on that too. If you can also please talk about that.
Yes, that's right. So generally, lots of people were coming on a visitor visa and then they were converting into the student visa, because what happened for last many years, getting a student visa for Australia was quite tough. As I said, they were putting a genuine temporary entrant criteria. So if you have a gaps or your English is not good, then getting a student visa to Australia, especially for the subcontinent like Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, especially those countries, getting a student visa was really tough. So you need to be on top of your game. So you need to have high English, no gaps, age needs to be perfect enough. So hardly they were getting the visa. So they were trying to come to Australia and visit a visa and then convert, which they felt like now the Australian government felt like, it's the loophole which we need to close down. So what they did from the July onwards, they start to, they given the policy that they won't be allowing any visitor visas to convert to student visas. Because what was also happening, that lots of people were coming where their age was somewhere like, they were really old, like 50 to 55 or 60s, even 65. They were lodging student visas Once they lodge a student visa, ultimately they reject the application, but since they're onshore, they can use the review system in order to stay in Australia. So that allows them to stay in Australia for, say, 5 to 7 years or 8 years, using the review system, and then go to the appeal system, getting into the federal circuit, then the federal, and then start earning on a cash, unlawfully earning it, because you don't have the visa condition that you can work while you're on a visitor visa, even though if you have applied for a student visa. So unless you get a student visa, that's perfectly fine. But if you don't have it, they refuse the application, then you cannot work. So they were exploiting, the system as well. And they said that no more student visas to visitor visas.
Okay, okay. And Anil, also, have there been any updates or changes to regional migration programs aimed at attracting migrants to less populated areas of Australia? I think earlier
Yeah,
it used to be, right?
yes. So very good question. So it's still there, Rajni. So, as we spoke about in our initial, talk, like the 491 visa. So 491 is the regional, state sponsorships where government is trying to push people to go to regional areas. So if you're looking to migrate, and if your points are lesser, then I also recommend lots of people to go through the 491 pathway. It's easier. Lots of state sponsorships are available, especially in the regional areas, and good opportunity to migrate to Australia. Then obviously you need to meet the certain condition. You need to stay there for 3 minimum years and work and live there. But after that, you can move to the urban areas as well, like to the big cities like Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. So still not bad comparatively those who really wanted to move to Australia. So still a good opportunity there. Plus, as we also spoke about the student visa, so you get additional points while studying in regional areas as well. So they're trying to push people to regional area which are low populated and the
Yeah.
more remote areas. So where you can push more regional economy and try to make most out of it. And ultimately, there is a benefit to get a permanent residency. So why not? 3 years are not bad. Uh, you know, I've seen lots of other countries where you need to stay for 5 years, 10 years. That's massive. So rather than just spend 3 years and get your things out of it, yeah.
Okay, so is the government giving any incentive or benefit to these migrants who are, accepting to settle to these regional areas?
So it's not the state government, but the regional government, yes. So relocation bonuses or funds are allocated to migrants, especially say Western Australia. They're giving up to $10,000 Australian dollars to those who are relocating to Western Australia, whereas recently Victoria were giving 3 to 5,000, and there are a few other states as well. So every states have their own policy for the relocation bonus, but Western Australia, one of the big states were getting lots of these initiatives. They have taken it, so they can take the most share of it. Because recently, like last 2 years back, uh, they had the government in Western Australia as well. So they were promoting the regional and they were giving lots of funds to Western Australia in order to grab these skilled migrants. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much again, Anil, for answering the question in so much detail, and those are some great answers. And but now it's time to go for a short break. So let's quickly go for a short break, and after the break, we can take questions from the viewers. And also, maybe you can tell me what's the secret behind Australia winning so many World Cups, cricket World Cups, because every time that there is a World Cup and Australia is in final, every time they win. So maybe you can also tell us about that. But right now it's time, guys. It's time to go for a short break. If you want to get in touch with Think Higher Consultants team, you can give them a call at +6 143 560 0610. I would like to repeat the number +6 143 560 0610. The email ID is melbourne@thinkhigher.com.au, and the website is www.thinkhigher.com.au, and you can get in touch with them. And to book a consultation with the team, you can use the promo code THC1607 to get 20% off on your consultation. yes, you'll be getting 20% off. So book the consultation, get in touch with the team. They are amazing. They'll be there to help you with Australian immigration and every problem that you have related to Australian immigration. They are there to help you. And if you're looking for a project placement or visa sponsorship, you can reach out to me on my number, which is +1 732 707 9151. And my email is Rajni at higheritpeople.com. Our website is www.higheritpeople.com. Remember, we sponsor H-1B visas and other work visas based on job availability and regulations. And now let's quickly go for a short break. And after the break, let's get into our audience's question, Aneel. And I will be also, asking about the Cricket World Cup. Let's just go for a break now.
Sure.
With so many opportunities for higher education and skilled migration worldwide, it's no wonder that more and more people are seeking out new places to call home. But navigating the complex world of immigration and its respective laws can be a daunting task, with different rules, regulations, and requirements depending on where you want to go. That's where we come in.
As licensed migration agent and education consultants, we are here to help you navigate the complex world of immigration with ease. Whether you're looking to study abroad, work in a new country, or even start a new life overseas, we have the expertise and knowledge to help you get there. Our team of experts are not only skilled in understanding the scenarios, but also in understanding the specific requirements, ensuring that you have the right resources to succeed. We understand that every client is unique, and we work with you to create a personalized plan that suits your needs and goals. From visa applications to language proficiency tests, we have the tools and resources to help you succeed. We also keep up with the latest trends in technology and legal developments to ensure that our clients are always one step ahead of the competition. At the end of the day, our goal is to make our clients happy by helping them achieve their dreams. We know that moving to a new country can be stressful, but with our expertise and guidance, we'll help make the process as smooth and seamless as possible. Together, let's broaden your horizons and help you make your mark on the world. Contact us today to learn more about how we can help you achieve your migration and education goals. Think Higher Consultants, because your dreams matter.
IT consultant seeking a new opportunity? We offer job placement services for US citizens, green cards, EADs, and visa holders. We also sponsor various work visas like H-1B, E3, TN, and green cards. 20 plus years of experience in the industry. Exceptional employee benefits. Highly rated by our employees. Global presence with 200 plus recruiters and direct clients. Connect with us. Call us on the number 732-707-9151 or mail us at rajni@higheritpeople.com or visit our website www.higheritpeople.com.
Welcome to Migration and Jobs Talk Show, everyone, after the very short break. And welcome back, Aneel, after the break to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. Today, guys, we are discussing about the intricacies of Australian immigration. So, Aneel, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah.
So,
exciting questions. Yeah. I believe we have
really
lots of
exciting questions, right?
Yeah.
So, Rushvi is here, and then Mir is also here. Hi, Mir. Hi, Rushvi. Samina is also here. Hi, Samina. Hamad is also here. Okay. And Hamad seemed to have a complaint. Hamad, we will try to resolve it. And Sarah is also here. Sebastian, Kamalpreet. Hi, guys. I hope you're doing good. And okay, let's quickly take their questions. And so let's take Rushvi's question first. And Rushvi says, hello, ma'am. Any update for 491 visa grant? 90 days complete after S56 submission still waiting? What do you have to say?
All right. So I think Rushvi is asking that she has already submitted the last request came from the Department of Home Affairs. So I'll just give you the brief about S56. So generally what happens, like if your application is on the final stage, Department of Home Affairs generally send you a S56 request, which is the last request before granting the visa. Now, obviously, since the new financial year has came in, the quota for grant of the visa was finished last year. So now, since they have just refreshed the quota, so I believe that she would be able to get the visa very soon. Depends on her occupation as well. But my perception would be that if she has submitted the application in Jan 2023, which she has said, then probably in September, October, she has more chance to get a visa grant. So this is how it's working. Yeah.
All right. So congratulations, Rushvi. You should be waiting for September or October because you'll be receiving your visa, Aneel has predicted. So thank you so much for your question. Let us know if you have a follow-up that you would like to know about. So please comment more questions and comment your follow-up if you have any. Let's quickly take Meer's question also. So Meer says, please help me. I'm unsure about the acceptance and recognition of PTE scores by Australian educational institutions. Can you clarify the recognition and acceptance of PTE scores by universities and colleges in Australia, and how to ensure that my scores are accepted by my chosen institution? Great question, because we were supposed to also have questions related to PTE, right? Aneel, so please go ahead.
All right. So all the Australian universities, all the education provided in Australia do accept PTE. Now, PTE has PTE Academic. That is acceptable to Australian providers, whereas there's a PTE core, which is for Canadian universities and immigration. So PTE Academic, once you give the score, generally it comes in a day or two, the results. And then obviously, if you have applied to any educational institute in Australia, then you have to send your report to the provider. That can be through the email or through your registered migration agent, and they will help you out then getting the further process to the next stage of getting an offer letter or getting acceptance and all. Now, recently, lots of changes happen in Australia now. They really want people to have good English proficiency in order to get, the offers and the student visas. So minimum is right now they require minimum 58 score, and overall needs to and no one less than 50. So that's the minimum requirements if we want to go with a bachelor's or master's. And then obviously there are a few courses which requires higher scores, especially like if you're going with a teaching or any medical related course, then the score needs to be minimum 65 each. So this is how the Australian education system works. So all the institutes accept PTE scores. So there should not be any issues. You should submit the score as early as possible. And then probably educational institute might take some time in order to assess your profile and then look into your genuine student test, and then offer you a final, the acceptance or the offer letter that you accept and apply for confirmation enrollment. So this is how it happens here.
Okay. And also maybe, Aneel, if you can share with them some effective study techniques, I'm sure there must be, like me, there must be a lot of other PTE aspirants so that they can use to prepare for their exams.
Yes. Absolutely. So exciting to give one of the best tools, that's pteclasses.com. So after a very thorough research, and it's been years that we have just used this one. They have lots of predictions. You can do mock tests and prepare yourself in order to get, we have got lots of students, they have self-study and got 90 each as well. So that's the score, which is a dream score for everyone who is applying for, trying to give the PT test. And again, if you go to the portal, then obviously you'll get lots of predictions as well. So we give lots of prediction questions which has came within this month. So in the PTE test, you generally those questions repeats a lot. So if in July, if you have done a test, say a few days back, similar questions might repeat in next couple of examinations or the test. So just go down there. It's quite easy, user friendly. Just go down there, practice. And if you need a premium package, we can offer you as low as $5.99, and then you can just practice. It's an unlimited usage. You can do it and then practice yourself and give the best out of in the PTE real exam. So this is how the PD classes works out. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for that information. And also, are there any other exam materials available, or I mean resources available where they can, maybe
Yeah.
an app or a website?
Yes. So we do have a Google app and the the Apple app. So you can just go down there, practice down there. Apart from that, lots of premium videos are there, which helps you practice. So we have recorded a lot of videos which help you practice the exam. There are lots of, we have also put the templates as well. So generally, PT is, if you're in PTE aspirants, then you should remember the templates. So if you remember the templates and you just follow the templates, and you get good scores. So we have put all the templates, it's all free out there. And then the implementation can be done through the video. So you watch the videos, implement those templates to your real exam, and I'm pretty sure you'll get very good scores. So as I said, people have got 90 each as well, putting the right template at the right time. So that is what you need to practice and master yourself.
Wow. Okay. So me, problem solved. Go grab this opportunity. And Anil, if they use this code THC1607, will they be getting 20% off on this as well?
Yeah, so right now, what we have done, we have kept it 5.99 for 7 days and 7 packages. So all have 20% discount. So yes, if they use this code, regardless of this code, they will get 20% off. But yes, if they wanted to get Australian immigration consultation, then they can use this code and give to my counselor, my team, and they will definitely give you 20% off. But for the PT, it's already, we have reduced down the price up to 50%. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for those who really wanted to start practicing now.
Wow, great. So congratulations, Mir. Your problem has been solved by Anil. So go grab this opportunity and, prepare for your exam. And now after Mir, let's quickly take one more question. Okay. So there are actually a lot of questions. I am selecting which one to actually choose. Okay. Maybe let's take one from Facebook. So on Facebook, Uzair has posted, hi, sir. Has the housing crisis issue resolved in Australia for offshore immigrants? And one more question is there. And he says, and any opportunities for chartered accountants in Pakistan, 190 or 491, what assessment body they should choose? Please, I mean, he must be saying, please tell.
Yeah, sure. So in regards to the housing crisis, so obviously at the moment it's quite expensive all around the world. So the rents are getting higher, the property values are getting really higher. So once you come to Australia, obviously few months or few year or so, you obviously struggle. It's not that you straight away go and start earning and you have an income. So you obviously need to plan accordingly. Since you're skilled workers and you can move to regional places or maybe not so very populated areas, then there are lots of opportunities out there. So I've seen people after a few years, they've started buying properties and lots of properties, even though they have started from the scratch. Regarding the housing crisis, though, right now the rentals are really high in Australia. But again, this is impacting all around the world. So inflation is high all around the world. Interest rates are quite high. So regardless if you go to Australia or any other countries, you will feel pretty much the same thing. So I don't think so for the new immigrants, it's really hard to have the housing issues. But yes, if you're down the line planning to buy or going with investment, then obviously you need some time to wait until the interest rates goes down or RBA cuts the interest rate. So that And I think the second question was more about the accountants. So obviously, accountants have opportunities, but they require very high points because lots of accountants do apply to Australia. So right now, they require minimum 85 to 90 points in order to get 190. Now, we also waiting for the state sponsorships to open because just the financial year just has begun. It's almost 16 days now. So state sponsorships generally opens mid-August or end of August. So once they are open up, there would be lots of opportunities for accountant as well. But I'll definitely vouch for this one. But you need to have more points. Somewhere around 85 to 80 points would help you out building your case towards Australian immigration. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your answer, Anil, and thank you so much for your question, Uzair. Okay, Anil, do you think inflation is also one of the reasons why the student visa cost has gone, has been doubled?
Not really. Migration has been reduced down. So it used to be they were trying to get more people to Australia, so they've reduced down the overall migration influx. But apart from that, the visa fee is 710 was already high, very high. I think it was the one of the expensive student visa application around the world. $710 now it's 1600.
Yeah.
It's massive. But when it used to be 710, it was one of the the expensive visas application fee. So I don't think so. The housing crisis have given any impact on that one, but it's just the immigration strategy in order to reduce down the number of students and have high quality students so they can stick to the universities. I think it's more, universities have tried to push government in order to have more students with them rather than to the, the local or, the international colleges, which are very outnumbers against the big universities. And again, once the laws are there, so once you get into Australia, you start applying for the refunds, and so again, it's all about the business as well. So if the universities are not getting the business, obviously they will latch on government in order to have right policies, so they can earn as well. So yeah, so that is why it has increased.
Actually, before the show, you said until and unless the government changes, I mean, nothing is going to happen,
Yes.
right? Nothing really is going to change. So, is there any possibility of the government being changed, or anything that
I think
might
next
happen in politics that might affect immigration, Australian immigration?
next year is the elections, so probably next year there would be some activity, but I don't see anything happening in next 12 months. So next year, I think October, November, the elections are there. So this government just given the migration plan. So generally, if you have put a strategy in, it's really hard to just overturn all the plan straight away. So these strategies and plan will have a ripple effect on all the migration. But as I said, nothing is happening in next 12 months. So it will stay the same. Yeah.
I mean, we cannot expect anything at least for these 12 months. Maybe after the 12 months and after the elections, maybe something can happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
For sure. Yeah.
Great. Let's quickly take some more questions. So, okay, let's take Shino's question. Okay, I think you already have answered this eligibility criteria and selecting the most suitable visa pathway. And okay, her previous question was, what are the steps involved in applying for family sponsorship or a partner visa to Australia, and what documentation would be required? How would you assist me in navigating the eligibility criteria and selecting the most suitable visa pathway?
All right. So for family sponsor and for the partner visa, your partner needs to be an Australian citizen or PR, and that partner who is in Australia or they're Australian citizen or PR, they should sponsor that XYZ partner. Now, family sponsor has another pathway, which is a family sponsor visitor visa. Again, for the visitor visa, you must have a family member who is in Australia. And as I said, they need to be either an Australian PR or citizen. Now, partner visa, you need to obviously formally married with that specific sponsor. You can also apply to the de facto relationship, but obviously you need to then prove that you have minimum 12 months of relationship, and that has to be live-in as well. So it's just not that you can show that you are in a relationship that will meet the partner visa requirement. You have to show the live-in relationship if you're not married. And once you're married, then it's perfectly fine. So even though if it's a week old marriage, you can still straight away go with the partner visa. There are a few documentation requirements there now because we have limited time. But the most important forms are Form 888s. So you must need to get those filled with your friends and family who are Australian citizen and PR as well. So these are requirements you need to fill. Apart from their more generic documents like how you financially helping each other, how you mentally supporting each other, how socially you are connected with each other. So Australian government should know these all things when applying for the partner visa. And obviously the relationship is genuine because there are lots of people who do the marriages in order to get the partner visas, and ultimately they found out and the visas got cancelled or they refused the visas. So that should not be happening. So if it's a genuine relationship, then shouldn't be any issues. Similar go with the family sponsorship as well. So you need to ensure that you're meeting the basic requirements, then ultimately getting the visa or getting to the process would not be that difficult. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Shino, for your question. I hope you have got the answer, and I'm sure you must have. And if you have a follow-up, please let us know. And meanwhile, let's take Kamalpreet's question. So Kamalpreet is actually your client, and he says, "Hi, Aneel, I'm your client." So I mean, Kamal, you could have asked this question to Anil directly on his WhatsApp, but that's a smart move asking here also. Whenever you're getting a chance to talk to Anil, don't miss that. So he says, "Hi Anil, I'm your client, lodged 491 visa on May 2023 as a production engineer, but still waiting for grant. Do you have any idea when they will grant the visa?"
All right. So as we have given answer to one of the other audience, as that lady has applied in Jan 2023, and we predicted that most likely she would be able to get the visa grant by September, October. So in May 2023, I'm predicting that it would be somewhere around November to December, or maybe earlier. But this is what the timeline is, because there is a global processing timeline which Department of Home Affairs have published on their website as well. So we need to keep an eye on that one. So if they have a more workload, they push the visa grants to few more months. So it depends on how the immigration workload is all about. So generally right now it's 14 to 16 months or can go up to 18 months. So I think December 2024 would be somewhere around there. He would be able to get the visa grant. And thank you, Kamal, for coming down and putting up a question. Yeah.
Tracking up wherever Anil is, whatever that Anil is doing, and how can you get, maybe a minute or 5 minutes of Anil's time to ask any question. So that's a great move, Kamal. Thank you so much for your question. Let us know if you have another follow-up. And meanwhile, let's take Himani's question. So Himani says, "Hello, sir. Any updates on 491 or 119 whites? I'm also your client. Please let me know about 491 analyst programmer points. 90 no invite yet."
Hi, Imani. Yes, I know Imani is a client. So she's eagerly waiting for the invitations to come. So state sponsorship, they haven't started inviting anyone. So we are predicting that it would be mid-August or end of August. So Victoria would start from the mid of August and probably similar timeline for the Western Australia. Other states have not given their timeline as of now. So we just need to wait for a couple of more weeks in order to have a better, better picture that how the invitation rounds would come. But I'm very hopeful that it would be somewhere around mid-August or end of August. They will start inviting people.
Okay. So Himani, I hope you've got the answer. Thank you so much for posting your question, and I hope you're enjoying the show. And let us know if you are. And meanwhile, let's take Mohan Kumar's question also. Mohan says, "What are some common mistakes to avoid in the writing section of PTE exam?" And
Right,
also,
Mohan, very good question, but
Okay, please go ahead. I
Yeah.
mean, he has another question,
Yeah.
but let's complete this and then
Yeah.
I'll move to another question.
Okay. So technically, I'm not the PT teacher or PT coach at that. So probably I'm more towards a tech guy. So we have built the PD classes. So my wife, who is a co-founder of PD classes, Sonia, she runs the show. So probably I'll just Mohan take your question since now you have put it on the YouTube. So I'll ask my team to reply you back with some tips, and most likely Sonia and the team would send you some sort of a video or something in order to practice more. So and then you can avoid making any mistakes and try to get straight 90 each. I wish, yeah.
Okay, so Mohan, you'll be receiving the video links and the tips basically from Anil soon. So just wait on that. Wait for that. Let's take Mohan's next other question. So he says, how can I leverage my proficiency in multiple languages to boost my PTE exam score and my Australian immigration application?
So as we said that, first you need to target at least you should get 65 each in each, each module, so each subset. So getting that one give you the 10 points, whereas if you crack 79 each will give you 20 points. So that's the max you can get it. So now obviously how to boost your PT exam scores and all, obviously you need to practice more. As he said that PT classes is one of the tools you can use. We have uh, both applications, Android and iOS, and plus we are giving lots of tips, lots of predictions, lots of mock tests, and then probably you should start giving more mock tests as well. Because once you have more mock test practice, then real exam would be quite easier to get scores easier. Apart from that, since it's an English test, so different languages won't uh, leverage anything for you. You have to just practice more English, try to communicate more. But again, PT test is more about tips and how to remember the templates and all. It's not about how good you are with the English, how good you are with the test. So yeah, so
Okay.
you need to now remember the templates. That's how you get more scores. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. So, Mohan, I hope now you have got your answer. Thank you so much for your question. We have, I think, let's just take one or two more questions. Because, we are already above 1 hour, but then still there are a few more questions. So, Anil, if that's okay for you, I would like to take like two or three more.
Yeah, I'm more than happy. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, sure.
Great. Okay, so Kamal is actually back, Kamal Preet, and he says, continuing my question, also submitted S56 in the first week of this month.
Yeah, so probably the similar timeline. December would be an ideal scenario where we hopefully get the visa grant or earlier. Now, since it's a new financial year, obviously lots of quota has given to the immigration to grant the visas. So more visas would come quicker. So Kamal and is one of our clients who have got the invitation. So we have lodged everything for him. So it's more about waiting for the visas. He's one of the lucky ones. So yeah, let's wait, Kamal. Most likely, November, December. That's what I'm presuming that we'll get, the visa grant for you.
Okay, and Himani is also back actually, and Himani's okay. Here is Himani's question. So she says, "Sir, are the points good for 491 invite that is 190?"
Yeah,
Again,
so
she said,
she almost has got the 90 points, which she have mentioned in her previous question. So 90 points are pretty good. So 80, anywhere between 80 to 90 is pretty good. And since we're expecting lots of invites coming in August and then onwards, so uh, probably you would be one of the lucky ones. Hopefully, get the invite. So you're well poised. It's more about just the waiting game now. Let's hope that they start the invitations and we can give you the very good news. We can give you the good news very soon. Yeah.
Great, great. Okay, let's just take one last question for today's show. Anil, so Gunjan is also here, and she says, I am a student on a subclass 500 visa, but I want to switch to a different education provider. Can you explain the process of applying for a new student visa including the required documents and how a smooth transition without affecting my visa status?
All right, very good question. Now, first we need to understand how the process works out. So if you're on a student visa and you're doing a particular course, and if you're not changing the level, so for instance, if you have came on a, say hypothetically, let's give a case study that Gunjan came on a bachelor of IT. Now obviously she came on a, say, XYZ university, which is very expensive. Now she wanted to change the education provider but not the course, so she can do so, but for that she has to meet the release requirement. Now how the release requirement works out, so if you have studied 6 calendar months in one of the provider, then you can move from one provider to another provider without getting the release. You just need to inform the previous provider that I'm moving to the new provider with a similar course or with a similar sort of the level of the study. So that's quite smooth. But say if you don't want to finish your 6 months and then you wanted to move, then you have to speak to your provider in order to give the release from the system. Now, Department of Home Affairs have an education system which is called the PRISM. So you have to get the release from the PRISM. And that can only be done if the education provider where you're studying at the moment allows you to do so. After 6 months is perfectly fine, but the prior you have to. Now, if you have finished 6 months, then you don't need to just move to the new provider and start working on it. But yes, if you wanted to downgrade, now the another scenario is that she is on a bachelor's of IT, but she wanted to do some diploma course, do not want to continue the bachelor's. For that, obviously, after 6 months, she can move, but she have to then apply for a new visa as well. So you cannot downgrade. You can always upgrade, or you can keep your same level in order to move to another provider. This is how the Australian, the process of moving from one provider to another provider works out. So I hope Gunjan have got the answer. And if you need more information, you can always email us, or maybe you can contact to our number, and my team can help you out changing the course. Yeah.
All right. So Gunjan, I hope you have got your answer. Thank you so much for your question. And if you have a follow-up, or if you want to get in touch with directly with Aneel or his team, or what you can do is you can give them a call at +6 143 560 0610. I would like to repeat the number: +6 143 560 0610. And his mail ID is melbourne@thinkhigher.com.au, and his website is www.thinkhigher.com.au. You can also visit his website. So yes, get in touch with Think Higher Consultants team, and you can use the promo code THC1607 to get 20% off on the consultation. And if you're looking for a project placement or visa sponsorship, you can reach out to me on my number, which is +1 732 707 9151. My email is rajni@higheritpeople.com, and our website is www.higheritpeople.com. Remember, we sponsor H-1B visa and other work visa based on job availability and regulation. All right. Now, okay, Gunjan says, thanks for reply. And thank you so much, Aneel. It was a great episode. It was our first episode with you on Australian immigration. Thank you so much for those lovely, insightful answers. And thank you so much, basically, for taking our time and coming and doing the show. Hopefully, we are hoping to see you again for a second episode.
Thank you, Rajni, for inviting me. It was a pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed the session, and I hope that our information on what we have done today, of the Australian immigration applicants or those who really wanted to go to Australia, they can, get most out of it. So thank you once again for inviting me here.
All right. So thank you so much again, Aneel. We are hoping to see you soon with our next episode on Australian immigration. Maybe we can come up with any topic, and I'll get in touch with you for our second episode. But again, I would like to again thank you, and thank to our lovely viewers also, who turned out in such huge numbers and posted their exciting, amazing questions. Guys, I hope the session was informative and helpful to you as well. And thank you so much, Aneel.
Thank you so much, Rajni.
All right, so our lovely viewers, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your questions, and thank you so much for tuning into Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And also, before I leave, don't forget to subscribe to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'll see you soon, and tomorrow also we are going to have 2 more webinars, so don't forget to tune into that. Those are some exciting webinars also, so don't forget to tune into that. I'll see you tomorrow, and but for now, like I always say, keep smiling, keep taking care of yourself, and also keep subscribing and keep watching Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm Rajni Bharara, your host. Bye for now.
Consultant seeking a new opportunity? We offer job placement services for US citizens, green cards, EADs, and visa holders. We also sponsor various work visas like H-1B, E3, TN, and green cards. 20 plus years of experience in the industry. Exceptional employee benefits. Highly rated by our employees. Global presence with 200 plus recruiters and direct clients. Connect with us. Call us on the number 732-707-9151 or mail us at rajni@higheritpeople.com or visit our website www.higheritpeople.com.